Hi, Sapna. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Lalita.
A warm welcome to you here in this afternoon, this Dashera. Like
Thank
soon
you
after
so
an
much.
hour, we are going to celebrate Dashera. But before than
Yes,
that, like being educators, how can we stop doing our work? We are so much workaholic,
absolutely.
right? So
Probably
I
this is the best
officially,
day to, come and talk about the topic that we are going to because it is so closely related to Dashera.
right. So true. Sapna, I just warmly welcome you. I'm really glad to have you here. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you all to Sapna Doshi from Mumbai today. She is a felicitator, means a mentor, a teacher. In short, she is an educator with 19 years of long experience. And again, she is an educator, not by chance, by choice, by heart. So I think she deserves a great, welcome from all of us. And not only this, she is an abundance coach and sound healer as well. And now she is proceeding and looking forward to be a speaker and an author as well. She's writing a book as well. So I welcome you here, Sapna, and I request you to just brief us a little more about you. Just tell us a little more about you, please.
Thank you, Dr. Lalita, for this very warm welcome. And as Dr. Lalita said, like I am in this field of education since the past 19 years. And it was by chance and by choice too. And it was my dream to become an educator from my very childhood. And life gave me this opportunity. I grabbed it. And gradually, with the divine power and blessings of all my mentors, I have reached the height of growth. And they have been amazing mentors through my journey. I just cannot thank them enough you know, to help me reach where I am today. And children are so close and dear to my heart. It may be any age, and it is because of them that I am still a child by heart till at this age also. It is they who give the spark in me every day in and out. And that's the purpose of my life. So obviously, like beyond that, I also want, my mission is to help people to come out of a lot of things. And I'm writing a book on how to be yourself originally, and how to grow yourself, and want to give the best recipe for life to people. And yes, the
Uh,
very core of everything is emotions. The topic of today, emotions, it's all everywhere, everywhere, everywhere.
you are the mother of a beautiful, a cute, and very nice, a very groomed daughter. I would like you to add on that as well to us, just in brief.
Yeah. So my daughter, she's the apple of my eye, and my heart and my soul, and my soulmate, who I call her. She's 25 and she's pursuing her clinical psychology and a master's, and on her pathway to research into clinical psychology in Sweden right now. And she has been a friend, a mentor to me too. She is matured, and we have both grown together. I can say it's not only she has grown, I have grown along with her.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. Like we grow with kids. I can realize that mine is just 5 years old, but I can understand that very well now. Yeah. So let's begin with the main topic, Sapna, now.
Sure.
Yeah. So first of all, as we are talking about development of emotions in the children, right? So I just want to request you just to elaborate a little more on like what is emotional development for you?
So, Dr. Lalita, I'm basically emotional development, emotional intelligence, social development. It's a very broad topic. And it's an endless research topic where researchers are still on their pathway finding the right answer for it through various
Yeah.
researches and through different tests and everything. But in a nutshell, if I would say, that emotional development involves learning what feelings and emotions are, understanding
Hmm.
how and why they occur,
Hmm.
recognizing your own feelings and those of others, and developing
Hmm.
effective ways for managing those feelings. So that is what is emotional development. And they are the skills which help, adults and learners to bounce back from being teased or sitting still in a group or in a classroom situation or in a large group, and to listen to a story. And basically, these are some examples of healthy social and emotional development. So,
Right.
and it is like very vital for helping children grow and well-adjusted adults to grow into well-adjusted adults. So, and how
Right.
to
So true.
recognize how to express their emotions, could be through words, could be through pictures, and process those difficult emotions. That helps in children to, become healthy emotionally and psychologically.
Means in short, Sapna, you just want to say like emotional development or emotional intelligence is first of all understanding your emotions. Secondly, processing the emotions, then understanding them and handling them. Like, if I'm
Absolutely.
getting it correct, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So there is
And
a
these
very
days,
thin
like,
line between emotional development and emotional intelligence. The development is basically learning what feelings and emotions are. And the second step to it is the intelligence, how to deal with those emotions. So first understand and then
okay.
deal.
Okay, thank you so much for just letting us know that there's difference. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Like I just wanted to mention these days people are talking a lot about only IQ. That is related to scholastic intelligence quotient. There are four quotients. One is IQ. We all know that. But there are three more pillars, and people are not much aware of that. Like it is emotional quotient. We are talking today about it. That's EQ. Then AQ is adversity, quotient. People are not talking about that. And then the creativity quotient. These are four quotients and equally important, right? So that's why we have started Sapna today from emotional quotient, and at the end we will take intelligence quotient because it's already very much popular and highlighted, right? So I just want to know from you, what is emotional intelligence? You have just told, but just I request you to elaborate a little more on that.
Yes. So as I said, that emotional intelligence basically is the EQ, that in a normal term, which is called the emotional quotient. It is the ability, to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in a very positive way. So just recognizing the emotions is not important, but how to handle them in a positive way to relieve
Hmm.
stress, to communicate effectively, to
Hmm.
empathize with others, then overcome challenges and diffuse and the conflicts. So how to resolve, how to come up with solutions, how to handle the emotions in a positive way that is productive. That is emotional
Hmm.
intelligence. And there are
Right.
basically four characteristics. There are categories of these emotions. Uh,
Hmm.
so there is self-awareness. Obviously, a person has to be self-aware. Then person has to have
Hmm.
that self-management skills. There has
Hmm.
to be social awareness and
Hmm.
relationship management. So these are the
Hmm.
four categories, that come under emotional intelligence.
Okay, can you please tell us a little more about these all four categories one by one?
Yeah, sure. So when we are self-aware, basically that is the developmental stage. Like what are the emotions a
Hmm.
person or a child is going through, maybe an adult or a child or anything. The happiness, joy, jealousy, fear, the self-awareness within them. That is the first
Hmm.
stage where it's very important, the first category. Then the
Hmm.
self-regulation. That is, how does one
Hmm.
regulate the emotions that you are going through? Then how does
Hmm.
one motivate themselves and others? So as I said, like it is being aware of your emotions and others emotions too. How does one
Hmm.
motivate to regulate those emotions, which
Hmm.
includes obviously empathy and social skills are required. So these are some
Yeah.
characteristics, some categories of emotional intelligence.
Okay, great. Thank you. Like now we have got to know, emotional intelligence and the characteristics of it. So, what are the, stages of emotional development?
Absolutely. So we are and social emotional animals. We cannot forget the developmental stages also. So children
Yeah.
undergo these various changes, in terms of physical, intellectual, and their cognitive development gradually until adolescence.
Yeah.
And these
Hmm.
specific changes occur at every different ages, which are known
Hmm.
as developmental milestones. And these changes can
Right.
help track whether, and the adults track whether the child is developing at the correct pace or not developing at a correct pace. But there is no
Right.
specific measure to the development of emotional. However, there is a
Hmm.
lot of research that it is, sometimes categorized into some researchers say four categories, some say five categories, five stages or six stages also. And
Hmm.
every child develops at a very different stage. But
Right.
majorly it is divided into five stages. The first stage is
Okay.
from 0 to 2 years. That is when the
Hmm.
infant is basically trying, feeling sleepy most of the time, is only focusing on the food and the basic necessities from 0 to 2. And they start beginning to be alert, responsive, and interactive with people whom they see in their daily life. And
Hmm.
during this period, the child will develop a very close bond with their parents or the caretakers or the
Hmm.
immediate family. And they start
Hmm.
imitating these people. And or the first emotional sign that you see, they will start smiling at
Hmm.
the ones who they feel emotionally attached to. So that is the first
Okay.
stage of the emotional development. The second
Right.
stage is when they start going to preschool, that is 2 years to 5 years of age. And
Hmm.
when the child starts walking, and when they take, a whole new adventurous approach to life, they will start
Hmm.
exploring their own self, their own language skills, and minor words. They start giving names to objects. They start giving names to people, and
Hmm.
during this stage they start exploring their emotions. And they might even start throwing tantrums if one notices. It is from 2 years to 4 years when tantrums begin. But
Yeah.
what parents need to understand over here, or the caretakers need to understand over here, that the child needs to be told the skill of gratification. That means that everything that the child sees cannot be only given. They have to
Right.
start accepting uh, the word no. That not in
Hmm.
a negative way, but everything in the world they see, they cannot. So we often find, you don't touch this, don't do this, don't do that. Uh,
Yeah.
or the child just wants it and parents just give it away. So that is one.
Hmm.
At this These are the developments that happen in this stage. Then comes
Hmm.
with the child from 6 to 12 years, when they start going to school, when they
Hmm.
start becoming more independent, when they start becoming more social. And some children definitely find it very difficult when they struggle to adapt to the schooling. And it is very
Right.
important, at this age, that the parents provide them praise, encouragement.
Hmm.
The smallest
Hmm.
achievements, a sense of celebration should be inculcated for the smallest thing at this age, from the age of 6 to 12. And the final
Right.
stage is obviously from 13 to 18 years, that is the adolescent or the teenage stage. And this is the time when children, they want to do most of the things without their parents, within their social
Right.
group, with their friends. They become totally independent. This is the time when
Yeah.
they start exploring different needs. The biological needs change, the physical changes need. They become more sensitive, they become more moody, they become more self-conscious. So these are the stages, and research definitely says that by a child, by the age of 17, when they become teenagers, and if their
Yeah.
emotional levels are regulated very well, they have a high EQ. So at every stage from 0 to 17 to 18, there is a
Yeah.
development along with the proper development needs. So needs to be
Wow.
looked at it very minutely.
This is great information, Sapna, you have given to us. That's really going to support the parents who are listening us. Sapna, we have Vijayanti both. Viji is with us. She was a guest earlier. So she is saying you awesome. Sunita Naidu is there. Sunita Gandhi is saying wow. Krishna Reddy is saying awesome. Monica is also here. So Monica is, just giving you a thumbs up. And then George Thomas is also here. He is also saying great. So not many people. Then Mrs. Pudam Malik is there. She's saying great job. Kanika Bhagwaj is saying insightful. Vijayanti both is saying very well explained. So thank you everyone for being here and just, boasting us, just giving us the, courage to do the things better. So let's proceed, Sapna. Next, I would like to ask you, what factors influence the social and emotional development in children, you think?
Right. So as I just mentioned, at every developmental stage, there are factors that influence the social and emotional development of a child. And the environment, parents, caregivers, the immediate family, extended family, the child's factors within him, herself also, school, teachers, peers, basically everything that they see, they hear, every person, the child has a relationship, maybe a direct relation or maybe an indirect relation. The relation with people, places, things, everything that the child is related to, exploring and developing, has a major influence on the social and emotional development. So we
Right.
can't say that some particular factors that we need to, factor into
Like
mind.
the specific thing is in all in the whole, like the environment around the child should be,
Absolutely.
accordingly whatever we want to, make the child. So environment means, and just creating that environment, the adults, the parents, the stakeholders, they need to be role models. I think first of all they need to understand this, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what
Absolutely.
is the importance of development of emotional intelligence? Like, what if a child is more developed emotionally? What a child is not more developed? Is that making any difference to the life?
So there is no level like more emotionally developed, but there is something called as development. There is no
Yeah.
levels. Obviously, when we do the tests and we do the markings, it does come on paper like, okay, is has a high EQ and or has a low EQ. But the
Yeah.
importance is like, why is it required? What is the importance of it? I would like
Yeah.
rather like to talk about the importance of it, not than more. So I would like to ask a question to Lalita, I mean to you and to my dear audience, that how many of you remember the first time you were asked to share your favorite toy with somebody? Did you give it up willingly, or was there any was there any adult who had to come in between to cheer you up? Was there any meltdown? Does anybody remember that memory? Maybe not. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I do remember. I do remember it was my Bengals. Like,
Okay.
I remember they were my Bengals, and I shipped from village to the city, and they were my Bengals, and my sister was looking for them, and I was washing them near the tap. And I think I am from the beginning a kind of sharing person. Like, I just gave her that. I remember. Before than that, I won't remember anything. I was
Right.
in
So
standard four or something. Yeah.
yeah, so standard four is basically, if we look at the emotional stages, that is around 9 years, 8 years, 9 years. So maybe from the very childhood, much,
Yeah.
much before
Yeah.
that, in your developmental stages, you must have seen, experienced people
Yes.
giving and feeling that joy. So that carried forward with you by 8, 9 years also.
Yeah.
Uh, but majorly,
Yeah.
if we see, 70% of the children would not part with something which is very favorite, and they have an immediate
Right.
meltdown. That is the first thing that they
Hmm.
realize that they are going through. The parents need to realize that they have started going through an emotional growth, and adults need to, look at it,
Hmm.
because gradually they will have to look at the emotional growth, academic growth, the physical growth, and the behavioral growth for the children, because it definitely affects, though it's a small window, but it's an opening to every area of their life. And so emotional intelligence is like
Right.
very, very much important. It gives them like a GPS for the children to navigate the way, towards the obstacles, towards success. It's like, what
Yeah.
is my where am I stuck? What do I feel? Why am I not able to move forward? And where do I want to reach? It's like a GPS for them. So I would
Hmm.
rather like to explain this through a scenario. So just imagine that a child is struggling to do his math homework, and
Hmm.
instead of yelling and giving up, what he tells is how whoever is teaching, maybe at home, is just saying that, how frustrated he is feeling, and he asks for help. Now, this
Hmm.
may not look like a big deal. So what? The child has just asked for help. He's feeling frustrated. It may not look a big deal. But this
Yeah.
requires definitely a lot of set skills. It requires that
Hmm.
emotional intelligence first for the child to recognize that the child is he himself is frustrated and then asking for help. These are like
Hmm.
multiple set skills which are, and how does this come? Only with emotional intelligence. That how does,
Hmm.
what is happening to me? What is stopping me? I need help. Who can I ask?
Hmm.
How do I grow further? So,
Hmm.
for the child to recognize that I want to grow is a big emotional skill in itself. Now,
Hmm.
what would the child normally do? He would throw the pencil in frustration, he might yell, he might
Right.
storm out of the room, or next day, notes would come from teachers that assignments not done, the teacher would probably
Yes.
help. These are all the situations for the children who are not emotionally intelligent. So
Right.
you can see the comparison between the two scenarios where we say that, okay, this is how. So the child realizes that he's frustrated. And instead of yelling,
Yeah.
throwing, he looks at the book. Probably, is there any other way of solving it? Do I have anyone
Hmm.
who I can ask help from? Sitting and talking. Next day, going back to the teacher and asking that I had a trouble understanding this.
Hmm.
Can you just repeat?
Hmm.
And can you please explain? This itself shows that the child is emotionally intelligent. And it's a very, very important thing for the child, where parents might just throw and say that you could have just asked your teacher, but the child didn't understand that he was frustrated, he was stuck somewhere. The whole understanding is
Yeah.
required. So
Right.
it's
Right.
important.
Yeah, and like scientifically as well, the researchers have proved it. Like yesterday, I shared it in the form of a reel. Like
Uh,
if a child is emotionally more, developed, the child can improve social behavior in their understanding their emotions. If I talk about their scholastic achievement, so it gives 10 to 11% hike to the child if a child is emotionally intelligent. Like we are just focusing on IQ. If the EQ of the child is developed, automatically 11% of the IQ will develop.
Absolutely.
So it is that important. I think we need to like today, Sapna, you are addressing it. It's really important. That's why you are addressing it,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So we are having Razorika with us. She is saying thank you. Then Prashanti. Prashanti is saying sometimes they go into the shell, not communication. So valid point. Like so beautifully she has put. Sometimes the children, they just go into shell, not communicating. Right. That's way. Nita is also saying that's awesome. And lot many thank yous are there for you, Sapna. Lot many. Yeah. So let's proceed further. I just wanted to ask, like, this generation, this 21st century, are they becoming more emotional intelligent or what?
So, Lalita, if we were becoming more emotionally intelligent, do you think there would be scenarios of, whatever we read in the news and newspapers and news everywhere, maybe politics or maybe houses breaking or maybe people giving up with their jobs or
Yeah.
suicide? I would not like to answer this question, but I would just like to leave with a question to think over, that with the world where it is going, are we really becoming emotionally intelligent? So, as
Right,
are
right. Like,
we recognizing are what we are going through, or are we just prone to reactions of what we hear and
yeah,
see?
yeah. And I recommend that this should be instead of teaching so many subjects, emotional intelligence must be the part of the school, a part of the home environment.
Absolutely.
If we want to save the humanity, if we want to give something better to the next generation, the only thing we can give is the first thing we should give them is emotional intelligence. I think. Do
Absolutely.
you agree to me, Sapna? Right
Totally,
on this?
totally
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
And
yeah,
many schools are realizing that apart from academics, social emotional development is very important, and they are catering a proper course, a proper session, to focus on the social emotional development of children. Many schools are, taking on, and educators are, providing that kind of facilitation to the upcoming teachers also, because they themselves. So For the teachers also, it's very much required to understand that emotional growth level. So then it can be
Right.
transferred to the students.
Right. So today's section, Sapna, is really interactive. Like Krishna Reddy has commented, and then Asha Singh is saying emotional intelligence needs to be taught to the current kids. So true. Like we are discussing the same. And Nidhi Gandhi is saying like you are doing the same. Like you both are doing something. The similar needs to be done. So thank you, Nidhi. Vijanti both has written a need for inculcating compassion. So true, Viji. You are like hats off to you. Care of pets is a stepping stone to learning compassion and caring. That is a tip she has given. We can just add on it later. And Prashanti is saying, like, agreeing to us and saying, absolutely. And Shweta Vivek is just giving us you a thumbs up. And let's proceed further with the next step of ours. Like, there are some myths about emotional intelligence according to the genders. Like women are more emotionally intelligent and men are, less. This is a general myth or it is truth. You just tell us on this.
So, according to the study that I've done, and according to the books that I've read through my course of, career, we all assume, that women are more emotionally intelligent. Perhaps it's because women tend to express emotions more than men. But however, when millions of tests are taken and assessments are taken on emotional intelligence worldwide for men and women, they have basically shown equal emotional intelligence. And basically, it is the people skill. It is how humans, whether it's a man, it's the masculine or the feminine gender, it is how they deal with the people. But there's something very fascinating over here when it comes to, the categories of emotions when we say, that the difference is in the role that they play for the in their career or in the home, and that we say. So it may come as a surprise to you that men and women, we all know that they are hardwired differently, right? And they have difference in
Yeah.
their neuroanatomy or the brain structure. But the basic difference is caused because we think that because they behave differently, they behave in the society. So when it comes to the capabilities like empathy, interpersonal relationship, or the social responsibility, women tend to carry their higher score over these three areas when it comes to empathy, when it comes to interpersonal relationship, and the social responsibility. And men
Yeah.
score higher in areas of assertiveness, stress tolerance, and self-regard. That is the confidence. So we can very clearly see the distinction where the the EQ is high and where the EQ is low. So, well as
Yeah.
both are,
Like emotional. Yeah. Please carry on.
yeah. So when it comes to self-regard and assertiveness, if we talk about women being regarding confident and how much do they regard themselves and assertive, I think most of the women somewhere in even in this age, they do not, give priority to themselves. But when it comes to empathy, when it comes to interpersonal relationships, women are higher over there. So basically, it's nothing to do with gender. It is how people deal with these emotions.
Mm-hmm. And like Sapna, like emotional intelligence is not just one thing. There are multiple, different. I should say blocks are there. They are connected together. Like you have just differentiated between men and women. And
Right.
here I want to add on something really interesting. Like, what is very interesting is if you look at the leaders, who are the top 10% people, whether they are the men or the women, there is no difference of emotional intelligence in that.
Absolutely.
This is something I have find out and I was amazed to just listen that, like in totality they are neither male nor female, they are the human beings. They are a kind of more better, more I should say refined human being. Despite of man or women, they don't have that thing in them, and their emotional intelligence, their emotional quotient is parallel. This is
Absolutely.
something really interesting.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, with this I would like to bring in the next next step to us is, uh, how to develop this emotional intelligence in kids.
Right. So it's the need of, it's definitely the need of the hour and this generation where we want ourselves as well as our children to be emotionally developed. So majorly it has to start from two areas, one at home and one at school, the two major areas where everybody, the children as well as the adults are. We can talk about
Yeah.
workplace later. So first of all is to very important and home place is to talk about challenges. How
Hmm.
many families talk about challenges with children, where they are struggling? Do they openly talk about the emotions of sadness, anger, or how overwhelmed they are? They ask the children, how they are feeling about that emotion. Do they can,
Yeah.
if they're very small children and they cannot give a name, they can draw, they can just put colors and symbols to those at home, and then the parents and the teachers can obviously explain what is the name of this emotion. First of all is to talk about the challenges, and then
Right.
how to work upon these strategies. So then once you have identified what is the emotion the child or the adult is going through, then brainstorm on what are the different strategies they can come up with. Instead of
Hmm.
just throwing a tantrum or going into a shell, what are the ways that they can come out of it in a positive way? What are the solutions that will lead them to whatever the goal and growth is? Also
Hmm.
helping others, so involve children, taking care of other people, taking care of pets, taking children for voluntary work, giving food, taking care of sick people. This builds something called as empathy within themselves, and when they build this empathy, it really empowers the child to build their self-esteem. It helps them to build their social skills. It strengthens these are some small things that help them emotionally intelligent, and these are some key areas which help them to move forward.
Yeah.
Basically
Yeah.
encouraging the children to talk about the feelings is very, very important. Just to talk. It's okay to feel the way you are feeling. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel jealous and sad. I mean,
It's okay to cry.
it's
Like I just
absolutely
must
okay to
say,
cry.
generally parents say no. लड़के रोते नहीं हैं. ऐसे ऐसे अच्छे बच्चे रोते नहीं हैं. Like instead, I think we need to work upon our terminology. Instead of saying that, we can say it's okay to cry sometimes. It's okay to feel sad and bad sometimes. Isn't
Absolutely.
it, Sapna?
Absolutely. So first, just accepting the feeling is a
Hmm.
major thing.
Yeah.
So,
And I must say these days, like obviously story listening and telling is something I associated the most with the all the intelligences, I must say. Like if you are a working parent and you cannot spend much time with your child, just do one thing. Don't come back home and ask for homework. Just come back home and ask for a story. Let's read a story. Let me tell you a story. And that story too, like Sapna, I would love to share it.
sure.
That stories are told. Every person has one's own way of storytelling. There are many storytellers. They have their own vision and view of looking at life. So they are saying this is the moral of the story. So what I do with my child, I would like to share with you is I do two things in addition to that. Number one, they have given you the moral of the story. What do you think? What is the moral of the story in your perception? I will share my perception. In my perception, I think this one more is the moral of the story. And in your perception, asking the child, I think is really very important. And in addition to that, in every story, there is shown one good person, one bad person. They are fighting, always winning the good person. Fine, that happens. But in real life, it sometimes does not happen. And even if it happens, do the good people have the liberty to beat the bad people? Because this is something making children aggressive as well. Like for them, if somebody is doing something wrong, so they have right to kick, to beat, to fight with the person. But there, in every movie, in every story, I feel I always tell my child, see, this is a story. Here, this person can hit him. Or this is Mahabharata, then the rulers were the kings. It was not democracy. So they could kill someone. But now we are in democracy. The system has been changed. the governing system has been changed. You cannot hit someone like that. You can just tell about it, you can complain to the police, or you can go here and there, because the morals of the story, the reality of the story, and the fantasy of the story is sometimes different. That's good for imagination, understanding, no doubt about it. That is the best tool. But according to 21st century, we need to, I think, add on these two things. Do you agree to me?
Totally, I totally agree, Dr. Lalita. And I would just like to add on to a little bit over here when you're talking about stories and perception and everything over here. It's very important to understand from the other person's perception also. When we narrate stories to children, like fairy tales, if we just take a simple story like Three Little Pigs, and
Yeah.
we say, you know, that there was a bad wolf and the three little pigs didn't build their house, and
Yeah.
what if the wolf was not a bad wolf and just
Yeah.
had a cold and he was like coughing and you know, blowing up, and because he was strong, a wolf is characterized in a person in a certain way, and the, you know, pigs are, you know, characterized in a certain way. But children need to be taught to step into other person's shoes. That's why it is very important to have look at the other person's perception also, not coming to
Yeah.
judgments or not coming to conclusions immediately. And
Yes, yes, yes. Like Monica is saying, brilliant, Sapna. Vijay is saying she has given some tips to us. Vijay is saying value education is really important, and that itself is going to enhance this emotional, development. Then Prashanti has given something really good to us. Like children should not be encouraged to, uh, should be sorry, children should be encouraged to express themselves. So true. Like we should share their daily schedule, their routine. I will share a story about this with you in a while. Nidhi is saying asking a child helps, really develop the thing. It develops the choice and decision making. Yes, asking for help. Like I can see this directly with my son. Then they feel they are having a kind of feeling of responsibility and being important, and thinking emotionally more strong. But Shanti is saying wonderful to you and me, and lot many thank yous are there, Sapna, for you. Like thank you. I should also say thank you to you. Let's proceed further. Like just on this only, like suggest some activities for the development of emotional intelligence. Just let's discuss a little more, and from audience as well, you can give some suggestions to us in the comments.
okay. So one of
Yeah.
my favorite activities, which I normally do and have been doing since all these years for in my session for quality circle time and social emotional sessions that I conduct in school, is when we have this audio visual session with the learners, what I do is, you know, just turn off mute and ask the children, you know, just to understand the words that they come up with for emotions. Observe their body
Hmm.
language, observe their facial expressions. What are the clues that they are picking up from the environment, from the characters that are moving around in the story? Make a list of it. What are the dialogues that they are saying? So first, the first step is where the child identifies what the emotion is. That is what we spoke about, the first stage of emotional intelligence. You know, watching TV without
Hmm.
mute, just watch. So it's a fun
Hmm.
time together. So the parent and the child can have their time together. It's very necessary that they have time together, which is quality time, which is productive time, which is building faith in the child also for the parent, that I have that space to express what I want to, giving
Yeah.
that confidence to the child that I can say this also. And whether a child and the parent partners with the child, and it's very necessary. And
Right.
at that time it is the job and the, you know, the part of the adult, you know, where how does the child react to this. That's where the
Hmm.
adult role comes in, like how does that. And then again, you know, to come up with new strategies, that okay, the character in the story, you know, behave like this. Is there any other opportunity that can be given to them? Is there a certain way that the you know, the situation can be dealt with? What would you do? So,
Hmm.
like, you know, creating like a role play kind of a thing, giving
Right.
examples of yelling at a sibling, or what could, you know, what else could be done. So brainstorming, like a
Hmm.
toolbox kind of a thing, create a toolbox from which they can.
Giving them situations, like you can say,
Absolutely.
giving them situations. If this could
Absolutely.
have happened, what will you do? If this is the situation, what will you do? Right?
Yeah, yeah, they can create. And
Yeah.
best is when they create their own toolbox. or I would call it as the first aid kit box, for emotional intelligence. They know that this is my medicine, this is what will make me feel better, if because I have put that in my emergency toolkit. And
Right. And Sapna, in this, I want to add on something. When I was doing the counseling for adolescents, so then I invented this. Then, I was finding like, how come give the situations to the child? So then one day I was just reading the newspaper, and then it struck in my mind, and I share it everywhere. I want to share it here as well. Like the newspaper. Every day there is something in the newspaper. So we can ask a child, we can read a news carefully. Something is, is really, if something we feel is too negative and can, affect the child's brain, we should not share that. Otherwise, if it is a story, we should, like they have to come through these things, in life. So we can just read the story with the child, the news with the child, and then we can ask, like, if you are in place of this, what will you do?
right,
What you could have done? So
right.
I think if this is a regular practice with the kids, maybe not every day, then alternative days, not alternative days, at least the weekend. If we can share at least one story a week, I think it can really give good lessons to the kids.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in this
Yeah,
scenario, when the children are so much attached to gadgets and they are playing so many video games, which is definitely affecting their brains and moving towards a more destructive than a constructive path. So even in video games, we can convert that into being productive. How can that? Because basically, what do video games do? They lead to destruction to gain points. How can those points? How can that winning? How can that achievement? Moving higher and higher through other ways also. So coding is something very much in right now. How will you code, something which is more positive, which is more productive? If we start doing that from the very childhood. So
yeah, right. Like games, no, Minecraft and few games. Like we people are totally against it, but this is 21st century. Somewhere we'll have to accept them. We just need to tell them how to limit the time. Otherwise, these games you rightly just mentioned, they are really helping them to understand. We fail sometime, we win sometime, we lose sometime, we chase sometime you know so with the limitations, if the games are even given to the kids, so they can be a great tool. And what I will suggest here is, if a parent can play a game along with the child, will be diamond, will be cherry on the cake.
absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share on this?
No, I think it's like we are looking forward for children developing emotionally, and I think it is high time that every human being at least recognizes the emotion that they are going through, and definitely to have your own emergency toolkit ready. That is a must in these days. And I think pandemic
Right.
has taught us a lot. This scenario has taught us a lot, where some
Yes.
have gone down the drain and some have just risen like a star. But the need of the hour, where again it's everything is going to change, and it's the new way of living. We definitely need to have our emotional skills, developed to a very high level. That's all what I wanted
Right.
to say here.
Like in three levels, when we are in the state, we are in good state, our achievement goes there. When
Absolutely.
we are in the medium state, then it remains there. If we go in the low state, everything happens accordingly. And if we are emotionally intelligent, we can keep ourselves more into the high state,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
The
And
awareness is what will take you to from one state to the other state immediately. It's like in a fraction, it can take you from one to another.
right. Like, and we need to teach this to the kids first. Like, even if you are losing in life, even if you are, somewhere, in your relationship, because this is life, it can come, it can bounce to you in any way. But if you understand how to handle your emotions, you can do whatever you want to do. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
these emotions keep on, just barking on your head, this, that. If you can just push them out all, then automatically you will achieve, you will focus on where you should focus.
Absolutely.
So
Make
we all,
friends. Make friends with your emotions. Make them your life partners. Be with them. That's the only
Yeah.
key, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Sapna, Monica has also, mentioned about the pet. Like Viji said, Sapna, how about keeping a pet? Does it help?
It
She's
helps
asking a
a lot,
question.
totally, totally, because that gives the child, a safe space, first of all, a very safe space where nobody is going to judge the child. Also, empathy, care for the, like, it's going beyond yourself for somebody else. That empathy is very much required. Care for the child, even being responsible, where you know
Huh.
that the pet is not being able to do something, you are responsible to take care of the pet. So
Yes,
a lot of things comes in with the having a pet in the
yes.
house.
And Monica, I will also suggest you one thing here, like keeping a pet is very good idea. But one thing you can take care of while keeping a pet, just try to understand the brain dominance of your child. Is the child a right brain dominant or a left brain dominant? Because, for example, if you are a left brain dominant, then the child would like more a dog. If it's a right brain dominant, the child will like more of a cat. So you can just think that in that direction as well, because you are bringing a pet and the child is not happy with that. You have brought it just for the emotional intelligence, and you are feeling what is this happening. Like my child is like, we people get worried about that, no? So don't get worried. There you need to find the interest of the child, like the brain dominance of the child. That can really help a little one step ahead for this the selection of your pet.
Wow,
So,
that was a learning, Dr. Lalita. That was something new.
okay, thank you, thank you. So, because I'm going through to it, Sapna, I'm being too much into it. So, as such we go, as such we learn, like,
True.
obviously. Yeah. So, just before we sum it up, this is a wonderful session. Truly, I don't want to sum it up, but obviously we will have to. We have limitations of everything. So, just the last points or tips or something you want to tell us to support the emotional development or intelligence.
Yeah, so as I said, like, help the child, first of all, to be aware, create some activities around, uh, share your emotions with the child, the bad day,
Hmm.
the good day, the bad times, the growth, even in that, share your emotions with the child, so the child understands that yes, my parents, my teachers, everybody around me are also going through a lot of ups and downs in life. So it's not only me who goes through my schooling life, or at whichever stage they are. It's basically, bonding time is very much required in this time. My parents are working, they're busy, totally understand, they have their piece of cake which they have to address, but some quality time at home is required.
Sapna, time and again we are saying the parents, but being parents, I think we are not able to understand it. Time and again we are saying quality time means read a story, play with them, be child with them, maybe for 10 minutes. We'll give them everything. We'll give them everything they need. But please, if you have less time, don't ask for homework. Play with them. Their
True.
quality time is not homework. Their quality time is playing with you, drawing, dancing, learning, sharing, with that with you. So
Absolutely.
that really, needs to be taken care of. So, Sapna, I would like to read a few more comments we have got. Uh, we have now with us, oh my God, so many comments. I'll take just some of them. Monica, I did that too with my son. Supriya is saying pets are wonderful companions to the kids. Teachers, unconditional love, innocence, sharing and caring bond, the fly together. It's Supriya is saying it's her personal experience. Thank you so much, Supriya, for sharing it. Then Vajanti is saying, my daughter is a cat woman totally. Yeah, but she's a left brain. I think she's a left brain dominant then. Monica is saying, wonderful session to you, Sapna. And Sanika is also saying, great input. And Vijay is saying, something new I have learned. And there are not many. Listen to RJ Karthik together on YouTube. Okay. RJ Karthik, what is that? If you could elaborate a little more to us. That's good. That's a wonderful point. That belongs to 21st century. I mean, Sapna, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you, baby. You are evergreen. I mean, so here this session comes to the end, Sapna. Thank you so much once again from the core of my heart for coming, for accepting, and it was really an enriching session. Really great informations are shared by you. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much, listeners. All of you attended, the session. Thank you so much. Mr. Ajay Kumar is also saying, thank you for the wonderful session. Vijay is saying value education. So with this, we would like to end up the session, Sapna.
So
thank you so much.
I should say thank you to you for giving me this opportunity and allowing, to share my thoughts on with so many people. Like, yes, in school, in career, in every places, yes, but to having it, sharing with a larger group of people, the joy that I am taking back is much more than what, the audience would have got it. I really thank you from the bottom of my heart, Dr. Lalitha, and everybody out there.
Thank you. Thank you, Sapna. We'll keep on meeting. We'll keep on calling you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us. Bye.